It's 2021 question 5, and this is the trickiest of all the short questions, I think. I think this is the hardest one. And you'll see why in a little bit. It's this little bit here in the middle can be interpreted as an if statement. If count is less than 3. It's actually a while count is less than 3. Okay, so that's a tricky bit. Let's go down and just do it. So the trace table just tells you what the variables are turning to, what they are as you go through various loops in the program, as opposed to what normally happens. You might be able to print at the very end of the program what the final value of the variables are. So this is kind of a running commentary. So here we go. Start. Initialize means initialize is first and all your names are initials, right? So start. Start with count, total, and n all being 0. And you can see they've done that there. Count is less than 3. Okay, now, this is a while, not an if. Okay, the first time I looked at this, honestly, I was like, oh, that's an if. And then I was like, oh, is it? Oh, wow, that caught me out. So it's while count is less than 3. And then you type in, well, your input, right, is 7, because you're doing 7, then 3, then 8. Here we go. So total plus n. Now you see I'm starting here on the right, because in programming you don't go left to right, you go here, and then this gets assigned to that. This little equals actually means assigned to, it does not mean equal to. N, which is currently 7, is added to total, which is currently 0. So just add these numbers together, and you'll get 7. I mean, that makes sense. So count, which is currently 0, is added to 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Right, that's the first line, and there's some marks right there. Next one. You'll see when you get down here, we're not going to print it because this then goes back up here and over here in a while. You see, I think if it was an if, an if would just continue on now and it'll be done. But a while will go around. So this little extra thing makes this a while loop as opposed to an if. Count is now less than 3. It still is. Yeah, check it out. 1 is less than 3. So we keep going. We don't stop just yet. Input n, it's given that in the question, which is now 3. So n, which is 3, plus total, which is currently 7. So just add these two together. So 3 and 7 are 10. Then count plus 1, there's count, which is currently 1. Add another 1 to that, and it's 2. Okay, so 1 and 1 is 2. We get down to here, but we can't exit yet. There's no way out because we have to, we're constrained by this kind of while loop here. We're still less than 3. That's less than 3. It's 2. So we have to go again. Back up the road, around the corner, and go again. Okay, so down here, and input n, it's been done for us, which is 8. Total plus n. So there's total currently 10. 8 plus 10 is 18. And then count goes up by 1, which is 3. Okay, so 2 plus 1 is 3. And there's your answer. That's it there. So let's see this in Python, how it would look in Python. This helped me kind of understand it. So this wasn't in here in strictly in the program, right? So if you just to run it, it says input n, and you have to do it. So what was it like? I just flick back to it. It was 7, then 3, then 8. Okay, so I type in 7, then 3, then 8. There you go. And it even calculates, because I put it in the thing, the part B, which is 6. So yeah, you see, even when you keep track of your variables here, it's kind of a trace table, but it's not quite as good as doing it by hand. And when not in Thonny anyway. There are other ways of doing it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put in a print statement as I go along, and that will actually help me. If I just clear this, I basically this prints n, total, and count just like it is in here in the table. So let's go again now. So I've added this line to the program. It's not strictly in the program. Print n. So again, that was, let's see, 7, 3, and 8. Okay, so 7, 3, and 8. And you can see here, it's doing the trace table for me, and then that's correct. Brilliant. Okay, and the last way I'll do this is in Flowgorithm. Flowgorithm is this nice little program that you can download for free. Just Google it for the PC. So you can see here, I've put it in Flowgorithm. Now in Flowgorithm, you have to initialize the stuff up here, then set all of them to 0 like that. And you can see when I did this in Flowgorithm the first time, right? I clicked if. Yeah, and can you see why this is a real tricky question? Because like a diamond is D for diamond, D for decision. So that's, I would say, an if. But actually in this program, what they meant was a while. So I think that was threw, I'd say, a lot of people off. Just things to remind yourself when you're doing these flow charts is that your inputs and outputs are both, little slanty things. So the way I kind of remember it is, a D for decision, D for diamond. Any process, anything just happening is a like count equals 0, and you're assigning something. Any assignment is this little rectangle, and if you get a rectangle and you just go boom and knock it in, it becomes a parallelogram. And that's what reminds me, oh yeah, a knocked in rectangles as an input. Okay, and like one bit goes in and the other bit sticks out, so input output. All right, that's one way of remembering that. Cool. And the circles, the circly rounded bits here are the beginning and the end. So if I press play on this, check it out. It goes down through it for me. So again, let me just double check. It was 7, 3, and 8. So 7, 3, 8. And the last bit, it says it's 6 because, you can even see from the trace table, right? The last two variables, total and count, are 18 and 3. And it says in here, print total divided by count. So total, which is 18, divided by 3, which is equal to 6. All right. And both my Python program there, 6.0, well, yeah, it's because of the integer. So that's 6. So there's 3 different ways of doing that question. And as I said, the only trick really was that this here is a while loop, but looks to me like an if. That's I think that's a fair place to get caught out, to be honest. So anyway, I hope that was very helpful. Well, it was for me, because honestly, the first time I would do this, I was like, what? Why is that not an if? Okay, grand.